to go into the deepest dive into fasting. So let's get right into it. First of all, what it is, the types of fasting, how it works. I'm going to do a super quick deep dive into the science, benefits, results, and last but not least, implementation and tips. This is going to be from all my own personal experiments for 20 years and working with 5,000 different clients on what actually really works. So what is fasting? Fasting is really abstaining from calorie-containing food or drinks for 16 to 24 hours. Now, that's really defined by the types of fasting. There's a ton of different types out there. I'm gonna really just only jump into two of the most popular types, and that's really defined by the feeding window. So, type number one is called time-restricted feeding. So that's basically a feeding window is when you're eating all your food, okay? So the most popular type of fasting schedule is what's called a 16-8, which means my feeding window for time restriction is gonna be 8 hours. I can feed, I can eat whatever the heck I want, and then I'm gonna spend 12 hours fasting. The second one is periodic cyclical fasting. It's done 1 to 2 times a week, and it's usually done for about 24 hours. So those are the two most popular types. Now, I'm about to jump into some heavy science. In a fed versus fasted state. So in a fed state, insulin is high, glucose is high, you're burning sugar, and you're storing fat. In a fasted state, insulin is low, glucose is low, you're freeing fat, and you're actually burning it. Cool, now that we're done with that science lesson, let's really jump into the benefits and the results of all of these fasting techniques. Results. First and foremost, we have gut microbiota improvement. I'm not going to write that word out. Now, what your gut microbiome is, it's the environment that controls your digestion, motility, how things move around. So when you're resting and not digesting, which what fasting is just a differential between resting the gut and digesting all the food. All we do is eat and drink all day, so you're constantly working. It's like taking a nap. We heal when we don't move. So it's massive for gut microbiome. Number 2, weight loss. Remember, at the end of the day, when you are fasting, you're doing a caloric restriction. So you're just not eating for some period of time, which is naturally going to take out some calories, which calories restricted over long periods of time, that is the master algorithm for weight loss. Okay, if you're worried about blood sugar and type 2 diabetes, prevention and management. So as explained in the science nerdy part, what fasting is incredible at is lowering insulin response and controlling blood sugars. Again, because we're just not eating as much food. Number, whatever we're on, 4 is appetite and craving regulation. I'm not going to write that out. Appetite and craving regulation. So over long periods of time of starting to not eat as much, you do have a reduction in how much you're eating. So that is your actual appetite, which is the signaling for food, and craving is specifically a signaling for something specific. All right, let's go in the last 2. Decrease in inflammation and cellular cleansing. So decrease in inflammation, again, when you're eating a ton of volume of food, and it's probably not the best, you're going to slightly inflame joints, cells. And what cellular cleansing does, next to inflammation, is it improves what's called cellular autophagy, the death of cells. When you have crappy, shitty cells that are going to die, some new ones get born. And what this happens roughly, I think cellular death is like every 7 years. Actually, that's fat cell death, which actually has something to do with that as well. We can increase the rate of speed of how quickly we burn off these fat cells. Now, you're probably like, cool, lovely spiel. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which is implementation. So, it's like thunder. Implementation. So why the hell would you want to do this? Here is, I'm gonna explain how to do the 2 and how they work the best. One is the 24-hour fast. In my opinion, this is the best one. Look, you're gonna sleep through most of your fast. So you sleep for, 8 hours, you get up, and what you can do during any fast is, remember, you can have calorie-free liquids and drinks. So this is my layout for a 24-hour fast. I get up in the morning, I have a cup of tea, I have a huge glass of water with some salt in it, and a touch of electrolytes. I still want to be getting nutrients. Remember, you're fasting from calories, but not nutrients. Then for lunch, I'll have a massive bone broth. So I'll have some bone broth. I'll put a little coconut oil in there. Again, I have a little bit of fat because it increases satiety. All right, it's going to increase. I'm not going to overeat. Then again, around 3 o'clock, I've got my graminos, which is greens and aminos. I pound that down. Look, for the total, like 80 calories I'm consuming for the day, I'm burning that shit off just chewing it and like moving and respiration. I'm putting myself in a massive caloric deficit. So if you watch my keto video, I talked about your basal metabolic rate. That's the rate of calories you burn just moving around as a human. So let's say I burn, I don't know, 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day. When I don't eat for a day, I'm taking all of that out. All right, so I'm not getting any of those things, which means I'm putting myself in a 3,000 to 3,500 caloric deficit. Guess what? That's exactly how many calories you need to burn for 1 pound of fat. So if I did that every single Monday, I'm gonna burn 4 pounds a month by following the protocol that I'm outlining right now. So again, in the morning, we have tea or coffee. You can, listen, if you wanna put creamer and a little bit of sugar, who the cares? Just have a little bit of it. Then for lunch, we're having something else, some bone broth, we're gonna have some graminos, and then we're gonna have some miso soup or bone broth. Again, you're just sticking to calorie-free foods. All right, so let's get to the fun stuff, the implementation on how to actually do these two different styles. So the first one is called the 24-hour fast. It is my favorite form of fasting due to the things above. Whenever we're doing a 24-hour fast, most importantly, you're taking a mental break from eating. You have no idea how relieving it is to not think about what you're going to eat during the day. You're putting yourself in a massive caloric restriction. So let's say I burn 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Maybe you burn 1,500 to 2,500. So a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if I put myself in that deficit every Monday, guess what? I'm burning four pounds a month just not eating 1 day a week. I have to change nothing about my diet. No food, no thought. It's also going to improve gut healing. When you're resting and actually digesting causes inflammation. You're constantly churning. It's basically like constantly working out. When we just stop, we give our gut the chance to heal. So we get to digest on this 24-hour fast. Also, you sleep through most of it. It's not that hard. Last but not least, it does have a long-term effect. Understanding appetite and craving. A lot of us really don't know the difference between being hungry and thirsty. This really starts to understand and differentiate and gets a good pulse on what's the difference between am I hungry, am I thirsty. So let me show you how to do that right now. What you're going to do is, remember, fasting is abstaining from calories, not nutrients. You can get up in the morning, have a cup of tea and or some coffee. I don't give a shit if you put creamer and a little bit of like stevia in it or something, a low calorie sweetener. You're going to put that in your body. Don't tell me like, it's breaking all the rules. If you literally do this 10 times, you'll burn the calories as in whatever you're gonna have. Then yes, so does it play with insulin? A little bit, okay? Again, this is significantly better than what you were ever doing before. So please don't get anal about it. Just do the best that you can. For lunch, have some bone broth or miso soup, incredibly low calorie, high in nutrients. Around 3 o'clock, have a graminos, greens and aminos. If you don't want to do that, again, have some more hot liquids. Or if you want to have a seltzer, if you're someone that drinks regular soda, have a diet soda. If you drink diet soda, try Zevia. We're just trying to move from compliance to science, okay? At night, again, repeat, bone broth, hot soups. That's going to also help feel full. You go to bed, you're done your fast. What I love about a 24-hour fast is you sleep through most of it. Awesome. So remember, you can eat that day. So let's say I ate at 8 p.m. was my final dinner. Here's a big tip. You're going to want to eat earlier. For a 24-hour fast, you're going to want to eat around 5 p.m. So guess what? If today is Friday, I'm going to eat my last meal at 5 o'clock. Later on that night, I'm going to have some water, some hot liquids. I'm going to have some seltzer. Might even have like a tea. And then I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get up the next day. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Tea, I'm going to have some graminos or amino acids. I'm going to have some greens powder. Then at 12 o'clock, I'm going to have a huge bowl of bone broth soup, maybe even some pickles. Again, pretty low calories, some cucumbers. Around 3, I'm gonna have probably another snack of either pickles, cucumbers, and I get to eat a massive meal at 5, then I just begin eating again. Super easy, but I just cut out a pound of fat. And if I did that for the rest of the year, I'm gonna lose 36 pounds by doing jack shit twiddly-dinks, just not eating. It's a great mental break from not training. So that's the 24-hour fast. If you wanna do the other one, which is straight up intermittent fasting, which is the 12-8, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is start pushing back your breakfast. Because remember, you're gonna condense your eating window to 8 hours. So if you're eating all day already, like 8 o'clock in the morning and then 8 at night and you're having some ice cream, just by compressing your eating window again is gonna put you in caloric restriction. The name of the game of anything that does with weight loss. All this shit is really just packaging different ways to put you in a caloric restriction, which is kind of cool. But if you're someone that needs parameters and I need to stop eating, this is a great way to do that. Put some parameters. So again, you're gonna wanna push back your window. It doesn't matter when you start or stop. If you wanna eat at 8 o'clock in the morning, cool. 8 hours from then you stop eating at 4. Okay, then you can have, again, calorie-free liquids in between. That's the fasting part, calorie-free liquids and or foods. So celery, pickles, cucumbers. Not the sexiest shit, but it works, okay? So if you're someone that starts eating at 8, try eating at 10. Okay, and go from 10 to 10. And then start trying to go from 12 to 10. And then 12 to 8. So you're really getting in an 8-hour eating. So everything, that is literally how to break down every single thing, the formulas I've used. This is the stuff that has worked for my clients for 20 years. I've had success with both these. I currently still do 24-hour fasting either once a month or bi-weekly, depending. I usually do this with the change of the season. So when I go into summer, I'll do fasting for a month every Monday, and that's it. Then I don't do that shit again for another 3 months. But still, I'm starting to clean my gut. I give myself a break. I'm going into a new season. This is personally how I manage a lot of my weight. I don't really need to manage my weight at all right now, but when I did, I would use this for gut clearing, caloric restriction. I would do the 24-hour fast because for me, it just works. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to track shit. So I hope you guys found this really, really interesting. If you have any questions below, please put that below. I'm actually going to be doing a private training for everybody in this group. If you want that, I'm going to be putting some details out next week. We're going to be doing a live training. So if you literally want the play-by-play, I literally don't know what to do, I'm a little overwhelmed, you can hop on that training with me. It's going to be an awesome Zoom call. We can troubleshoot this down. You can be like, hey, this is where I am. I'll be like, cool, this is what you're going to need to do exactly. So you can tell me your breakfast, lunch, dinner, what's going on. And I will literally coach you on how to do that and what's going to actually work. So, Ammo Health, Habit Breakers, hope you guys love this.